My name is Merlin, and I will tell you the story of King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table. Today, you would call me a wizard, but 1,500 years ago, Britain was a very different place. Then Vortigern, the English king, used the Saxons to help fight his battles, but they rose up against him and occupied large parts of the country. It took Uther Pendragon and his brother Aurelius to defeat the Saxons and bring peace to the country again. Uther had two problems. First, he had no male children to succeed him as king. Second, he had a consuming passion for Igraine, the Duke of Tintagel's wife. Uther fought a terrible battle. The Duke was killed, and Uther took Igraine. I conceived the plan. They conceived a child. The hue and cry against Uther's behavior endangered the very life of the unborn child. So, shortly after the birth, I smuggled him out of the castle. Old friends of mine, Hector, his wife, and their son Kay, took him into their home to bring him up as their own. Of course, this was Arthur, Uther's son, and destined to be the King of England. But all had not run as planned, for Morgan le Fay, Uther's grown-up daughter, who some said was a witch, put a curse on the young boy. Uther Pendragon died, and fighting broke out amongst the lords and the knights. All set their sights on becoming King of England. Using my magic powers, I devised a plan to unite the country and bring peace to the people. A summons was sent to all great men of England to come to Westminster. Here the next king would be chosen. There in the churchyard stood a large stone with a steel anvil set in it. Out of the anvil rose a beautiful sword, and an inscription on the stone read, "Whoever draws this sword out of the anvil is the rightful King of England." Some of you here can guess who put it there, but not the knights and the lords. Pushing, shoving, pulling, and even kicking, the sword stuck fast. Among the crowds were Arthur and his brother Kay. And then, without fear, our young man strode up in front of the crowd and drew the sword cleanly from the stone. So there we are, Arthur, King of England, and I planned it all. His reign started peacefully, but slowly the greed and impatience of the lords led them to rise up against him. Arthur kept peace in the country by winning glorious battles with brilliant tactics, devised with a little help from me, of course. During one of these hard-fought battles, he damaged the sword he had drawn from the stone. So I took him to the magic Dosmery pool, in which lived Nineveh, the Lady of the Lake. As the moon cast its light on the water, a hand rose above the surface, holding a beautiful, glistening sword. Arthur took the sword and its superb silver scabbard. "The name of this sword is Excalibur," said Nineveh. "It cuts through iron and steel, but the real power lies in the scabbard. Whoever wears the scabbard will never die of his wounds. Guard it with your life." And it was there I, Merlin, took my leave of Arthur, for I was tired and my powers were weakening. Besides, Arthur now had his own life to lead. As he grew into manhood, he fell in love with Guinevere, daughter of King Leodegrance. It was this love that gave Morgan le Fay her opportunity to plan the downfall of Arthur. She gave more goals, Arthur's half-sister, the likeness of Guinevere, and as Arthur slept one night, Morgause crept into his bed. They conceived a son, and Mordred was to be his name. Guinevere arrived at Camelot to become queen, bringing as her dowry a large round table which was set up in the great hall. And it was here the knights of the Round Table were formed: Gawain, Gareth, Geraint, Kay, and others, to be joined from France by Lancelot du Lac, the best known of all the knights of the Round Table. Alas, he and Guinevere fell in love, and Lancelot felt he had to leave Camelot. He wandered for years on many adventures. He also fathered a child by the daughter of King Pelles, his son Galahad, who was to prove to be a better knight than himself. With Lancelot now back in Camelot, Arthur's knights set out to find the Holy Grail. To see the chalice with the blood of Christ was the ultimate prize. Many knights were killed in their adventures, and others returned empty-handed. Lancelot found the Grail, but was denied sight of it because of his adultery with Guinevere. His son, now Sir Galahad, the perfect knight, was granted full sight of the Holy Grail in all its glory. Having fulfilled a knight's ultimate triumph, Sir Galahad died shortly afterwards. Lancelot was again meeting Guinevere secretly. Mordred, Arthur's son by his half-sister Morgause, set a trap for the lovers, and they were caught together. Lancelot escaped, and Arthur, distraught, agreed his wife should be burnt at the stake. In the nick of time, Lancelot with 5 knights rode in and cut Guinevere down from the stake, spiriting her away, but not before Sir Gareth and Sir Gaheris were hacked to death by Lancelot. The lovers escaped to France. Gawain, brother to the 2 dead knights, insisted Arthur take an army to fight Lancelot and bring him to justice. While in France, Arthur was reconciled with Guinevere, who left to return to England. Events were not running smoothly for Arthur in England. Mordred rallied support against Arthur in his absence, captured Guinevere on her return, and proclaimed himself King of England. Arthur, landing at Hastings, routed his son's army, but Mordred was soon back with a larger one, ready to fight again. This time, Arthur thought it wise to negotiate. Offers of wealth, rank, and power were sent to Mordred. This appealed to his greed. He accepted the terms, and father and son rode to meet one another, each suspecting trickery. While they talked, a soldier seen an adder disturbed by a horse cut off its head. The flash of steel was enough, and straightway both armies were locked in deadly combat. All day the battle raged, and at nightfall Arthur and Sir Bedivere were the only knights left standing. Seeing Mordred, Arthur snatched up a spear and rushed towards him. In his haste, Excalibur and the magic scabbard slipped from his side. As he drove his spear through his son's hateful heart, Mordred's sword cleaved Arthur's skull apart, and he lay dying. The curse of Morgan le Fay had finally been fulfilled. Brave Arthur's body was borne from the battlefield, Sir Bedivere returning Excalibur to the Lady of the Lake. At the lakeside, the barge waited to take the dying Arthur to his final resting place in Avalon.